We're going to talk about tracking planes from the shack tonight with your SDR dongle. If you have a dongle and a computer and some crappy 2-meter antenna that you can hook it up to, this will work for you. Okay. Now, obviously the right antenna will be better. All right, Joseph, do you want to go through the hardware we're going to need?
Sure. All right, need a computer, Windows or Linux will work. The program works on both operating systems, which is pretty good. An SDR dongle. So we've had TechNets in the past about that. You just need a basic RTL-SDR. Any one of those should work fine. The antenna. If you want to make an antenna for this, you want to tune it to about about 1 gigahertz. And you can make those. There's some pictures of those here in a minute. But nearly any antenna will get some signals. I actually was very impressed by how well some lossy feed line. I have like 75 feet of lossy feed line connected to a 2-meter antenna in the attic, and I can still get tons and tons of airplanes. So apparently their signals are pretty strong because they're in the air, and there's no obstacles or anything. So if you want to try it, if you want to make like a serious setup, then yeah, make an antenna with some low loss feed line at a short length. But if you want to try it right now, any old antenna will do. So that's pretty cool about that. Those are the things you need right there. Those 4 things. Pretty easy to come by. Most people probably have it. The software you need. The software that actually interfaces with the dongle and tracks the planes is called Dump 1090. 1090 being the frequency, actually. And that's on GitHub. If you search Dump 1090, the first thing that comes up will... should be the GitHub page. If not, there's the URL there. I can also paste it in the chat because I actually have it pulled up right now. So there's your GitHub link. And another program, if you're on Windows, that's actually pretty cool, is called Virtual Radar Server. And this just gives you a little bit upgraded interface for viewing the planes on a map. That is Windows only though. So if you know how to program and tinker, you can get it work on Linux. Apparently they support it, but I couldn't get it to work. So those are the main 2 things you need. You only really need. If
Joseph couldn't get it to work, I wouldn't bother.
Well, there's a lot I don't know about that sort of thing, trying to troubleshoot programs. But anyway, yeah, Dump 1090, Virtual Radar Server. Those are the main 2.
So you need both these to do this?
No, you only need Dump 1090.
Okay.
We left the 2 slots down there that just say description website.
Hey guys, it was a little hasty this week. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. Here's some examples of of a little dipole antenna you can build.
Ground plane.
A ground plane. Yes. God,
Look how cute that is.
Yeah, that is cute. It's cute.
It's like the one in my attic, except it's a little baby one. Because the higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelength. So you tune it. Same design though. Pretty cool. Very easy to make. But that one in the middle there has a type N connector on it. That's pretty cool.
Cookwanger wire ground plane.
There you go.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, that's pretty easy to build. This little piece here, you get that just like that. You're just putting 5 things on it and you're done. Yeah. Here's some more fancy ones for those of you out there that are just never, ever happy with the basic crap like me. There's one there. That one, this one right here, it's like a 40 element or something. That's for like if you want to pick up planes in Australia or something. I don't know what that's for. Right. Or maybe SETI Alpha 5. I'm not sure, but yeah. But anyway, there you go. And notice this one here is reminiscent of a TV antenna, but like a bow tie. This is a great little one that they built inside a weather box that you can just put together, and now it's all protected from the weather. So just some neat ones out there. There's one down here at the bottom they built out of one of those plugs like those other ones you saw, but it's got a different configuration.
It's a folded dipole.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options there for you to build the antenna.
This is just a quick rundown for getting it to work on Windows. You go to the GitHub. In the GitHub, you scroll down right into about the middle because there's like a list of files. When you go to the main page, it'll give you all the files. You want to find the one that says dump1090-win.zip. Download that, unzip the file, and inside of there, run dump1090.bat. Now, make sure you've done your Zadig and just make sure SDR Sharp works with the dongle. So make sure the driver's installed, basically. Make sure Zadig is there. And if you do it and you notice that it fails to start and you see it shows 2 devices available, one with a garbled name, go back into Zadig, find the dongle. Actually, wait, no, go into Device Manager on Windows, find the dongle in there and hit Remove Device and tell it to delete all software for this device. Click that, or not, click the checkbox that says delete driver for this device, and then go back into Zadig and find it again. It should be listed as like RTL something inside of Zadig, and then reinstall the driver on top of it. That we had that happen on one of the computers, and that's what fixed it, was going into Device Manager and deleting it and uninstalling it and reinstalling it using Zadig.
And if you guys have trouble with this step right here, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this tonight because we've already done this in a previous TechNet just 4 or 5 weeks ago. So just Google SWFL TechNet and then put SDR Sharp with a little sharp sign, and it should come up in a YouTube search, and you'll be able to go back and watch us go in depth on how to, because these SDR dongles, the one thing I don't like about the STR RTL is there's a little trick to installing it. It's just, it's not plug and play. All right.
Yeah.
Are we done here?
I know.
Okay.
One last thing. So once it's running, you should see it switch to a little square menu, and you'll see airplane call signs actually start to populate in a list. And when you see that, then it's working.
We'll show that in just a second.
We will show that, yeah. Open up your web browser and just go to the localhost address with a port of 8080. So that's going to look like http://127.0.0.1. That's the localhost address. Colon 8080. That's all you need to put into your browser to.
Well, isn't there a link right there for that?
Yeah.
There's not in the if you're running virtual radar server, you can click it. But if you're doing it without virtual, this is without virtual radar server.
Okay, I get it. I understand.
Optionally, you can install virtual radar server, which is very straightforward. We don't need to go through that. And when it's running, it actually automatically interfaces with dump 1090. So all you got to do is run dump 1090, then run virtual radar server, and there's actually a button in there that opens the browser for you. So it's very easy. So that's all there is to it on Windows. On Linux, you go to the I think you can go to the same GitHub. I put a different link in here. It looks like I did, yeah. That one might be, I don't know why that one's different. They should both work the same. But the only difference is you're going to click the little green code button in the top right or middle right of the main screen and choose download a zip. Unzip it, go into the folder, click open terminal here like I showed earlier, and then you're going to type // which is how you like run a it's like a Linux executable. It's the version of an exe file. You'll just type // dump1090, and then you'll do --net --interactive. That's if you don't do interactive, the little thing will look different. It won't be a list of call signs. It'll be a different style of menu, which is not, it doesn't work right. And --net is what tells it to host a web page for you to view the airplanes on. And then you just go to the same address like you would on Windows, the localhost address 127.0.0.1 with a port of 8080. And that's all there is to it for that. It's pretty
Here's
easy
a
to get
question
ordered.
for you. Since you're showing me a HTTP address, you should be able to go to another machine and access it using http:// the IP address of that machine and then port 8080. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
If you're doing it on Linux, also make sure you've got your RTL-SDR drivers up and running. Otherwise, it won't find any devices. But we did that in a previous TechNet. So,
And this all, remember guys, the Windows installation for this is real simple. The Linux installation is not that bad at all. And you can go back and get this tomorrow or whenever you decide to do it. Just go back and watch this section again. We're a couple hours in here. All right, we done with this one?
Yep.
All right.
The live demonstration. All right, what machine? How do we want to do this?
Just dial in the number 5 and then capture your screen.
Okay.
And I'll get out of this.
Oh, look at that. It's already set up. Perfect.
Yep, it's running. And now you guys get to see what it looks like. There it is. The information you see there with those planes is not coming from the internet. It's coming from a van, an antenna that I took off my van and threw up on the roof of my shack.
Yep, he's got a mag mount and it's
A
working.
little 2-meter mag mount that I stuck up there. Now, if I had the right antenna, I'd probably get 20 more planes on there.
Yeah. So
I wish I'd done this when I was in Atlanta.
yeah, I've done it on an actual plane. I had my laptop and a dongle with me, and I tracked my location from inside the plane. That was
There you go.
Let you do that. Oh wow.
So this is the zip file you will download from the GitHub. You run this .bat right here. If your drivers for the dongle are working, this is what you'll get. You'll get some call signs, flight numbers, altitudes, stuff. All that is listed here. Here is virtual radar server. This is what it looks like as soon as you start it up. It automatically interfaces, and you'll just click this blue button right here. You can also tell it to show you a network address. So this is the link you would use from another computer on the same network, or you can show the internet address, which would show the external IP of your router on there, and you can use that. If you port forward port 8080, you use that IP address, and you can connect from anywhere in the world. So
you can actually have a receiver in one state, and you can go to another state and receive the data from your server and put it right on a screen down in your shack in another place. It's really cool.
As you port forward it, should be a big
Yep, port forward it, and it worked fine. I've done this before. It's pretty cool. So there's that. That's the interfaces, but let's show the actual part here. So this is what you'll get when you go to that little web page with virtual radar server. If you're not running virtual radar and you're on Linux, it looks pretty much identical to this. The only difference being that it doesn't show a picture of the airplane. And so the information is all still there. It's just not as detailed. It doesn't look up the airplane for you.
If you want, here, let me see it for just a second. If you want, I moved this over. This is what it actually looks like when you first get it out of the box. I had it moved over a little bit. That's why it looked a little weird.
Okay.
But you normally get like 2 pictures of the plane. There's actually a plane photograph service.
Hey, you can see
who'd have thunk it, you know?
Yeah, really.
look on different ones here. We can see pictures of the plane. It's pretty cool. It's really handy to have this. You can kind of tell what kind of little propeller plane.
Yeah. The lines I believe are showing you altitude, like the green is down close to the ground. The blue is in a mid-level, and then your purples are at the higher levels. Those purple ones are flying way over us, way up high. The blue is on final to RSW. That's why they're showing much lower.
So yeah, we can watch this plane land.
Yep, if you watch this one, and remember, guys, this is coming from an antenna on the roof. It's going to disappear because I'm not on a tower.
Yeah, it's dropping down below the horizon.
If I had my tower up, if I had an antenna up, now I'll tell you something else that's weird. If you use an antenna that has real tight lobes, or an antenna that works really well, it's not going to do as well on this. I'll tell you something else that's weird. I hooked up my long wire and it didn't do well at all. Yeah. So the shorter the antenna, the better. A UHF would probably work better than a VHF, literally. So
was 1090 megahertz.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you really need a little dinky antenna that's just a few inches long. Yeah, there's one. He just took
plane's
off
coming right over your house.
Yep, it's about to go right over my house. It came out of regional, and you can see that
you can see it.
It's at 11,000 feet.
You can see it was white, and then blue, and then darker blue, and then you can see it taking off. There it goes.
See his vertical speed. Can you guys see all that there on the right? His vertical speed is 3,100 foot per minute upward, and his speed is 399 miles an hour. His heading is 24 degrees azimuth. His distance is 1.18 miles. I think
From
that's
you.
From
I think
me.
that's from
Look,
you.
he's about to go right over my house. 58.49, 0.33. How close is he going to get?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, there he
Yeah.
goes.
He went right over my house. I'm right there near Slater and Del Prado right there. So he went right over my house. What's neat about this, guys, is the sheriff's department choppers come up, the med flights come up.
Yeah.
The mosquito control. I watched a mosquito control plane earlier today run laps all up and down, running tracks, spraying last night, actually. He laid a bunch of spray in North Fort Myers. You can see him going back and forth, back and forth. When the sheriff's department's up doing their, you'll see something just flying around in circles. That's the sheriff's department. Pull up your scanner because he's watching something. There's a lot of private planes you'll see. There's one service that flies at Sierra Delta or something. It flies out every day, about every hour. Another plane will take off and it flies up and down the coast and it comes back and lands at Page again. And I know that's got to be a sightseeing service of some kind or whatever. But it's really cool because you can see so many different things from this. And of course, this will work if the internet's out. It's just like the two different satellites that you can receive, the geosynchronous and the polar orbit. Those work when the internet's out. This works when the internet out. The whole cool thing about this, all this stuff we're showing you works with or without the internet. And it's just one more thing that you'll have that nobody else will when that internet goes down. But anyway.
I especially like the ability to see unlisted vehicles like or unlisted aircraft like police helicopters, because every now and then something real low will come flying over the neighborhood, especially at night, and it's like, what is that? Why is there nothing showing up on the flight tracker website? Power this up and it's like, oh, that tail number is registered to the Fort Myers Police Department. Oh, they're looking for somebody. So yeah, I think that's what you can see military stuff on here too. I think most military traffic is hidden from a lot of the public websites.
That green one might be private. Let's see. Yeah, that's private. That's a Piper PA-28 161 Warrior 2, and it's at 5,000 feet, and he's descending right now. He's at 111 miles an hour. Yeah, I think I just lost him because he's too low. You know what else is cool about this? You can actually you actually can study propagation with this too. You know, Joseph and I were talking about this the other night, but all the same propagation, even though it's a different band, a much higher band, a lot of the same propagation rules all work. And I'll notice, like, I get planes on the other side of Lake Okeechobee. I get planes over there all the time, but once they get north or south of the lake, I lose them. Why is that? Because the signal travels a lot easier over the lake and it gives me a little more distance. So, you know, it's little things like that you notice, the propagation. So really cool stuff.
We've actually got one from across the country right now. Spirit Airlines. Yep. There's another one over.
Once he gets north or south of the lake, you probably won't see him anymore because I need that little bit of help I get off the lake.
I see. He just disappeared. Yep.
Yeah. See, I mean, I only get them when they're on the other side of the lake. That's a propagation thing. It's got to be.
But yeah, if we have this on a proper antenna up on a little tower, you'll get I don't know if y'all can see these circles here that are kind of very transparent, but you'll get planes this far away. Like you'll get all the planes down here, which is just really cool because you can see all the flights coming in and out.
Miami, you've seen quite a lot then.
Well, and I will tell you, it's not doing too well tonight because the other night when him and I were looking at this, we were seeing planes coming out of Tampa.
Yeah.
As soon as they got up around 6,000 or 8,000 feet, we'd start picking. Well, about 10,000 feet, we'd start picking them up just south of Tampa, right around Ruskin. And then a couple nights ago, I was watching this. No, it was in the middle of the day. I was watching this, and I was getting them. I was getting a lot right around Tampa, quite a bit. But what's funny is I'm not getting much out of Miami. So once again, I'm propagating. It's on the north pitch of my roof, on my shack. I bet if I went up there and tossed it over to the south pitch of the roof, I would probably get the Miami planes and not the Tampa ones. Who knows? I mean, that's what I said. It's kind of cool because I'm playing with propagation, which is what we all love to do. So there's another plane on the other side of the lake. It won't stay there long, though.
Oh, one just popped in by Bradenton.
Yeah.
This one, United.
See, that's 159. That transmitter is getting all the way to my wrong frequency antenna, 159 miles away.
Wow.
So if I had the right frequency antenna up 20 feet instead of 12, I probably would be getting, like I said, 3 or 4 times as many planes.
Yeah.
This makes me want to put up a proper. Listening station now.
Well, would you believe I've already decided I'm building that antenna this weekend? I was going to do it this week, but I ran out of time. Oh. So I've got a lot of editing to do this weekend, but I've already promised myself if I get a couple more of them files done tomorrow, I'm going to build that antenna. And I'm going to go out and put it on the side of one of my non-conductive masts. Get it up about 20, 25 feet.
What kind of antenna you going to build?
I'm going to build that little ground plane. I'm just going to build one of them little ground planes, I think.
Work?
Yeah. Well, this is one of this. You know me, I love fancy antennas, but this isn't something where you really need a fancy antenna.
You know, it's like this kind of like the weather satellites. You don't want a fancy.
Right. Because the better your antenna is, the more focused the lobes are, and this is something you want to truly be omnidirectional, and not just omni on the horizon, but omni everywhere. You know, 360, yeah, completely. So
also, I think those quarter wave antennas, I may be wrong about this, but I believe that they are slightly biased towards facing upwards with their reception and radiation. In terms of their radiation pattern, I think it goes upwards ever so slightly, which will help a lot for this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, the ground plane like that, like it's probably what you're referring to. It doesn't have a tight lobe at all. So it's receiving from pretty much everywhere, above it, beside it. So yeah, it works. I think that's going to work. I'm a little disappointed. This is not picking up near the amount of planes it was picking up the other night. I don't understand why it's
come out of Bradenton.
I don't know. They pop in and out.
I know, but it doesn't seem. It's a little late too. That's another thing. It's 10.
Not as many flights right now.
Yeah, it's 10:30 at night.
You can even see the route.
Exactly why. Yeah.
Tells you the route.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one has a logged route. Now that information, guys, does come from the internet. You realize that all the stuff where it says altitude, speed, distance, and by the way, you can actually get barometric pressure from a lot of the planes too. All this information is all from the plane, but then the pictures and the flight plan and all that stuff comes from the internet. It resources it, just like when you make a contact and it resources it with QRZ.
Yeah.
Boeing parcel service. Wow. Look at that.
UPS.
My package is coming.
I wonder if my package is on that plane.
Plane over the lake.
I always pick them up over the lake. No problem there. Boy, it is dead tonight. There's normally a lot more planes even on this system.
You know, it's a Friday. I would think we'd have a couple extra people flying in for the weekend. But
More planes than you're getting now.
there are a lot of planes landing at RSW. You just can't see them because they're below the. As soon as they reach.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this. I found this the other day. I was in here messing around, and under menu here, was it menu? Wait a minute. Where was it? Hold on. Oh no, it's map layers. This one here is the rings around the airports. You can turn it up. It's a little glitchy, but you can turn it up to where you can see the rings.
Yeah,
See, it shows the rings around the airports. It also shows like flight hazard areas and things like that. But it also clutters your map up really bad. So that's why I turn it down to where it's like a shadow in the background. But that shows you all your airports and your flight, your whatever they call it, exclusion zones, I think they call it, and things like that. The big ones are, of course, your international airports and on down. The Miami airport's got a huge exclusion zone around it. And those little ones you see, they look like a circle with a line through it, all different. Those are all private airports, folks.
Gee,
There's a lot more of them than you think there is.
that's how we get the drugs in.
Now they just throw them out over wherever.
Yeah.
That's where technology's come. They're still throwing bales out of planes, but now they got a GPS transponder on them. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we thought GPS is going to be a military system, and it turns out being used for all kinds of things.
Yep. See, I just turned this down to where it's like a shadow, like that. And that way I can still see it if I look for it. But it's not intrusive. You can set this thing to auto-select the closest plane, or auto-select the furthest away plane, or auto-select the highest plane, or I saw all that yesterday. And I had mine set on show me the facts on the closest plane. I think that's in, you might know where it is, Joseph.
Map, maybe. Auto select aircraft, select
Yeah, there we
closest
go.
to. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
see, I've got it set for closest plane. And then you can also
think-
set it for different things. And you can turn that auto select on or off. So
Now most this menu settings here and the track and everything, that's all virtual radar server doing that. The default dump 1090 doesn't have it. Dump 1090, it gives you a pretty basic interface. It just gives you a map, plane icons, and tail numbers. That's pretty much all it gives you. It doesn't give you a track or that much information on it. I'm still looking for a way to get this working on Linux, and if I find it, I'll put it in one of the next tech nets. But
Virtual radar is a Windows application then. Isn't that
Yes.
right?
yeah.
they
Fine.
claim that it can run on Linux, and I followed their instructions, but it didn't work for me. So,
Well,
but if
what
I find
about-
out how to make it work, I'll put it in here.
Can you run the dump 1090 on a Raspberry Pi and then go over the network and run virtual radars on Windows machine?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
In fact, a Raspberry Pi, actually, they have this, I think it's an entire pre-made image, but they have this thing called Pi Aware, and it's got dump 1090 and the radar server all pre-installed on it, and you can plug it in, and people do this. They set these up so that they can be like a feeder for public websites. But there's already if you're doing it on a Pi, there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with it.
The only thing so far that I don't like about virtual server, and I'm going to be honest with you, this virtual, whatever it is, virtual radar, is they don't have a night map. You can turn the brightness of the map down, but that doesn't seem to help. So I'm hoping that maybe I can find a way at some point to maybe download a different base map or something and stick it in there. Or I don't know, but
It'd be kind of like my old Garmin GPS. It would I'd have that in the car, and it would get dark, and all of a sudden that thing would flip into night mode.
Yep. Yeah, and that I don't know. I know Joseph's kind of the same way. I just like everything in night mode, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have like 20 screens in here, and I'm being irradiated in so much blue light that I probably got babies with 5 legs. Or probably the good news is I probably ain't got a sperm that's still swimming, so it doesn't matter because of all the radiation in here. I mean, if you look at the amount of radiation I have in it with HF, plus all the screens, plus all the different frequencies of all the different light and sound and Oh my gosh, it's crazy if you think about it. So anyway, the long story short there is I try to make all my screens as dark as I can. I keep the screen brightness down as much as I can, and not too far though, because that's a strain on your eyes too. But the big thing with me is I also use blue filters. Some of my screens have the blue filter thing turned on, so at like 10 o'clock at night, I'll start noticing the screens will start turning like yellow. I hate that, but it is easier on my eyes. All right. Any questions on the Dump 1090 or the virtual radar? All right. Just to recap, if you have an SDR and a computer sitting in front of you, you have everything you need right now to get this working in the next 20 minutes. There's nothing to it, folks. You just got to take the dive and do it.